Hi, Jaya. Welcome to our podcast, Decoding Destiny. You have established your name in Forbes as top 25 law professionals. You come from a tier 2 place in India, a small place in Jharkhand. Perhaps you can tell us more about that eventually. You have pursued your bachelor's in English, and later you've pursued your executive education from IIM Ahmedabad. After 14 years of industry experience, you got listed in Forbes magazine. So your accomplishments are not a result of the colleges you went to, but purely on the basis of the kind of work you've done in the industry. And that must have been quite a journey. Let's start from the beginning. What exactly did you want to be when you were in school?
Thank you, Khushbu. First of all, thank you for having me and doing this podcast with me. It's quite interesting that you are doing this for the students to gain knowledge, how to be successful in their life. Coming to your question, I actually wanted to pursue journalism in my life because I was doing English honors from Sophia. But somehow I think the destiny had different plans, and the path that was curated for me was different. And my parents, especially my father, he thought that I had a personality to go into law. And that's why he kept telling me that why don't you try it? It'll be good for you. It's also lucrative, and your speaking power and your knowledge about things, general knowledge is quite strong. And I don't know how, but thankfully I had the confidence to speak in public places also. While I come from a small town in Jharkhand, which is called Bokaro Steel City, I think my schooling was very good. And of course, there's of course the upbringing. My mother is also a teacher. My dad was a very strong personality. So I think that came in as an inheritance, and it helped me. But when I started doing law, honestly, I did not like it because this is not what I wanted to do. But it was just the sheer matter of you that I want to do something in life. I started studying it, giving my papers. It was quite interesting because law is an interesting journey if you really like it. Then I started with very small. I started interning with a family lawyer, and then I started interning with a small training and recruitment company, which was involved only in the legal industry. And slowly my journey started from there. And then the law firms started happening to me in the BD and marketing section, which was very new 15 years back. There was not
Right.
much BD and marketing that you can do in the legal industry. I found it very interesting.
Right. But I want to take one step back and know what was your mindset like in school, say when you were in seventh or eighth standard, because you started off with bachelor's in English, right?
So my
So,
mom is an
yeah.
English professor, and there were a lot of books when we were reading and studying when we were growing up. So it was always a thing that it's very interesting to do it. I was good also in English, and I don't think science was my strength. So I thought I will pursue what my strength was, and English was my strength. And I took a wise call in class seventh and eighth at that young age to do English because I thought mom is there; it will be useful. And as destiny would it be, I got through Sophia College in English honors, so it was good.
Right. So, in 11th and 12th, which specialization did you choose?
I chose science, but that was not something I wanted to. But it helps in the long run. But it was
Yeah.
science plus English, and I was open to BA, BSc, BCom, BA, LLB, whatever. So I don't
Okay.
think, it will be cliche to say, but yes, 11, 12 is important, but it really doesn't carve your life. You should just do
Yeah,
well.
very true.
You should honestly study, get your marks well, but it doesn't choose the journey that you are made for.
True. Okay. And when you chose to step into law, you already had your bachelor's degree in English. So
Yes,
I think you must be 21 or 20 years old.
yes, yes, yes.
So at that time when your dad guided you that, hey, you should pursue law because of your personality and your other strengths that you have, how did you do anything to confirm if that was the right career choice for you?
No, I just trusted him. I just
Okay.
trusted him because you're young, and at my time there was no, like, the internet was there, of course, but it was not. I don't think at my time we had so much exposure to talk to so many people to understand career guidance. I just trusted my parents. And when my dad said, I spoke to my mother also, and she said, yes, it will be good. Your English honors will also help you because language is the key in law. So I think a
Right.
combination of that, I thought, yeah, it'll be good. And I felt right about it, to be honest, from my gut. I just felt, yeah, it will serve me. So, yes,
Hmm.
it's fine.
Okay. How was your experience in the college that you pursued your LLB from?
So because it was Bombay, Kushbu, I would be honest, anything that I did in Bombay was fun. I never looked at it like, it's very tough or this and that. It was quite fun. And so Bombay education system is very empowering. They give you a lot of time to study and do other stuff also. So our classes used to get over by 11 o'clock. You start early by 7. 11 o'clock our classes used to get over. We had time to do internships and stuff. So I thought that this college is very cool. I mean, they are giving me time to do internships. I mean, no other graduate college will do that because I had already done my graduation and we had long lectures and long classes in Sophia College. So I was like, wow, this is very nice. And yeah, first 6 months law is tough. You're like, what is happening? I don't know. I mean, this is tough. But once you start understanding, you start reading the case laws, you start reading the actual law where it's applicable, where it's not applicable. It is fun. So I would say college life was good. It was quite interesting. You get both practical and theoretical knowledge. And they used to also help us to understand where you can go and do your internships. So it was quite a
Hmm.
guided time for me, I would say.
Okay. So, in your 3 years of LLB, how many internships did you end up doing?
I did two.
Awesome. Okay. And duration?
Sorry, because you are only allowed to do your internship from second year at that time.
Okay.
So you could do only two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but I did long internships. I did one internship for 1 year and I did other one for 6 months. So I did long ones because I tried to
Amazing.
understand. Because I was doing an internship in the marketing side of law, so it took me very long to understand how does it work.
Okay. Could you talk a bit about that internship and marketing side of law? Because if you see traditionally, people are very used to associating law as a lawyer or,
Yeah,
going to the court and
yeah,
all of those kinds of professions. So could you talk a bit about what exactly do you do and what did you do in
yes.
these internships?
Sure. So I was doing an internship with a family lawyer, and I used to go to the family court and the high court. And honestly, I think that might not be the right choice for me because family law is very depressing. It's not the best of the place you want to be.
Could you elaborate a bit on what exactly is family law?
So family law is mostly about divorce and matrimony cases and then child custody. And it's very depressing to see families falling apart. I mean, whatever the reason is, I mean, everybody should be happy in their space. But divorce is not good. It's unhappy for everybody. And if a child is involved, it's even worse for the child, for the parents, to see the child getting split between the parents. I did not like all that. I mean, I had the heart to do the law, but I did not have the heart to see families crying and falling apart. And that's a very emotional side of me. That's a personal thing. There are very good family lawyers also. There are a lot of matrimonial good divorce lawyers also. I did not have the heart. And I think that was a good thing that happened to me because the other internship that I was doing, marketing and BD, which I had no clue about, I think I started focusing on that more. So we were going to colleges and speaking to lawyers on training them about the future of law, training them about some products that we were making, speaking to the principals of the school to see how this kind of training will help your students to get internships. So that kind of thing, like mostly sales and marketing of selling products to the companies and training the HRs of the law firm. So it was quite interesting at that time. But that is something which was not really what I'm doing now. So
Hmm.
it's like a 360-degree turn. So now I'm an in-house BD person in a big law firm, and that I'm doing something very different, which will come to during the interview. But
Yes.
at that time, I was
Yes.
doing something altogether very new, and again, matter of youth. You like everything you do at that time if you're
Yeah.
passionate about it. So I had a good time doing that internship also.
Okay. You also highlighted a very important point, which is a generic factor. You said that because your college was in Bombay, despite the fact that it was not a tier one college or the best of colleges, it was not a problem to you, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of people, when considering which college to go to out of whatever options they have, they often place a lot of equity on the fact that, oh, your college location is in Bombay, so you can do a lot of other stuff. So, could you share stories of what exactly are these advantages that we are talking about? Aside of the fact that you already mentioned that you did your internship, and
yeah,
because these companies were situated in Bombay, they were okay to take an intern, and the commute and all became easier, so you could
yeah.
make that happen versus a tier 2 city where maybe these internships might not be possible. But aside of these work
Yeah.
opportunities, what other advantages are we talking about when it comes to a college in Bombay?
That's a great question, Khushbu, and it's really going to help students who are going to watch this video. So, see, in Bombay, what happens, and I could talk about the metro city, because Bombay, you meet too many people when you do internships, when you go to family court, when you go to do your internship. I was working with National Law School pass outs who had just started this. It was a startup. So, I was understanding that how a startup also works. At that time, 15 years back, startup was a big thing, to start. Now it's like people have more exposure. There was no Instagram, there was no LinkedIn that was that strong. So at that time, it was all about physical communication, in-person communication, talking to each other. So I think Bombay gives you that advantage, and Bombay is non-judgmental. So, I mean, most of the metro cities are, but because I'm from Bombay, I would talk for Bombay. Bombay is non-judgmental. You do your work, you garner knowledge, and then you move on to do better things in life. So, and from the commute part of it, yes, if a person from, say, like a small city comes and lives in Bombay, they have to pay rent and they have to manage a lot of stuff. I was already living in Bombay, so I knew the pros and cons. I knew the train timings, I knew the bus timings, I knew the court timings, I knew which the lawyer sits in which chamber. So it was easy to navigate myself. I was maneuvering two internships at the same time, but that couldn't have been possible if I was new in the city, because I was here already in the city. So Bombay helps that, and Bombay's public transport is very good. Everything is on time, so you can really put your mind to work because you're not hassled about other things. You're not hassled about your dabba, you're not hassled about your train, you're not hassled about your public transport, you're not hassled about talking to an auto driver ki I will not give you more than 20 rupees. Everything is on meter. So life is very tough in Bombay, fast city. I look at it, life is very sorted in this city if you manage yourself well. So you focus on
Hmm.
work more than thinking who to stay with, where to stay, what time can I come back. So all that problem is not there. And because law as an industry is very intensive, like it's very strong. So you have to sometimes stay late in the office also. I mean, court shuts at 5, but after that you have to do briefing and drafting, and if you're doing two internships, then you have to balance that one also. So you can come home at any time. I mean, it's so safe for a women to be in this city. So I was looking at it from a very positive angle, and I was like, this is not that tough. I mean, yeah, you are away from parents and you feel bad, and you are new to the city, but I'm already there.
Already there.
I think that
I
advantage.
think that as well. Awesome. I think you spoke about a lot of factors, especially even women centric, that
Yes,
where a lot
yes,
of things are already taken care of. And I
yeah,
think your experience of doing LLB in Bombay was even better because you already knew the city really well. You
yes,
sort of knew the land and the ways of working. So
yes,
often when somebody just goes to pursue bachelor's in Bombay thinking that, oh, I'm going to get great exposure, that initial 1.5 year is actually it's very different, right? You get a culture shock.
yes,
So
yes.
that goes in understanding the city and the
Course,
place. Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, of course. So
Also,
yeah,
like
that
your
that's
college has to be, I think your college has to be flexible to allow you that time bandwidth to do an internship. Only then would it make sense, because if you're pursuing a course where you're completely occupied, then you might not be able to take advantage of your location as much as any other, right? I think in hindsight, a lot of factors worked out really well for you in your favor, and that has resulted in who you've become today. All those
yeah,
early exposure that you got,
yeah.
that must have played a very key role in shaping your understanding of
Yes.
the entire industry and where you see yourself and how you want to fit in. So amazing. Happy for you. All
Thank
right.
you.
So, what is it that you currently do? And if you could simplify that to the understanding of a school kid.
So basically, I had strategy and communication for a law firm. Now, according to the Bar Council of India, lawyers and law firms, the legal industry is not allowed to directly market themselves. We don't have the opportunity and the right to do that, because traditionally law has been a very noble profession. So, first of all, everybody says if you don't need a lawyer, it's good. So that's why there was no marketing as such also. They were like, if you have a problem, I know a lawyer. It was word of mouth, and I'll suggest that lawyer, please go to him for this particular problem. So traditionally, it's called a noble profession because we want to help the society. And
Hmm.
whatever amount or whatever fees at that time, I mean, in the traditional time, whatever amount the client or the person who's come to you wants to give, you have to accept it with honor and dignity. So now it's different. But now what has happened that there's a lot of competition, there's liberalization, foreign law firms. That was not there 15 years back, but we could have exclusive relationship with international law firms. So there was a lot of competition, and somebody needed to go out there and tell people that, this is the law firm, these are the practice areas, like different verticals, like corporate M&A, banking, technology, insurance, and these are the deals and matters that I do in these particular practice areas, and these are the journalists who are writing about these deals. So what now I do is I marry all this together and I present to the world. So I present to the world that what my partner strengths are, what my law firm strengths are, what are the practice areas we are doing very good, what are the creme deals in the industry that we are doing, which are the journalists I should speak to if I close one deal. See, if I close a deal in the banking and finance practice, but the sector is infrastructure, like it's a project finance deal, then which journalist should I talk to who is leading the finance sector, but also the infrastructure sector in his newspaper. And then I tell the person that, this is what we have done, and this is how I want you to. This is my press release, but if you want exclusive, then you can speak to my partner. So that's one part of my job. The other part of my job is that I see the events that my partners can go and speak to clients. Then there is media roundtables. Then there are client roundtables. You do it in your law firm, or you go to a media house and do the roundtable. Then other things that I do is a lot. I speak to a lot of international journalists, because what happens that for the international deals, there's a lot of India leg to it. So when you speak to international journalists and international law firms, we make sure that we are visible to them. They remember us when they are doing the India leg. So if they have the India leg of the deal, they get in touch with a particular law firm. So my job is to be present there, to be visible to them in an indirect way. So I can't just call them and you're doing this deal. You please let us know. I'll tell them, what, I'm doing like a client event. It's like a drinks and dinner, and we would like to invite you. That kind of thing. So it's all indirect. There is nothing direct, because we're not allowed to. So that is what I do, and I think it's very interesting because direct marketing becomes easy, and indirect marketing is where you really have to use your brain power. And
Hmm.
of course, social media is one of it. And then I also have to choose on which social media we should go, because Twitter is a very good social media. It's a micro blogging site, but lawyers are very opinionated about different parties of India also. And I don't want my law firm to go out there, or any law firm should not do that. I believe that go out there and write anything about any leading party of the country. So I choose like where we should go, where we should not go. So this is all the strategy I do. Which sector needs a boost? Which practice area needs a boost? Like if corporate M&A is doing well, then we will not focus on it that much. We will only focus on visibility. But if your TMT is not doing well, that technology, media, and telecommunication, then you focus on it. Ki how can we do it well? Because I have a partner who is an expertise in it, who has the expertise in it. So how can you do that? So these are small bits and part of the work I do. It's quite interesting. It can get very hard when the volume increases, but then you have to manage it. And I think that happens in all the jobs. That doesn't only happen in my sector.
Right. Thank you so much for simplifying it. Would it be correct to assume that this is also related to the PR of the firm?
Yes, yes,
In like very simpler terms, if we
yes,
are to, this would be PR,
yes,
right? So
absolutely.
I have one follow-up question. So can someone without an LLB degree also, pursue this particular job role?
Absolutely, yes. Of course, they can. If they know how the markets work, if they know what time the market close, what is a listed company, if you're doing a press release for a listed company, it should go on the stock exchange first, and then you can do the press release. If they have the knowledge of all that, of course they can. It only helps to be a lawyer to do this in a law firm, because then you have the
Then
same
you have
energy and the same vibe with other lawyers. Then you speak the same language.
and you pursued executive education from IIM Ahmedabad after 9 years of experience. So what made you want to do that?
Okay, again, I did not want to do that. My managing partner at that time, who was a very kind man, he told me that I'm choosing you to do it, and I did not say no to it because it was
Oh,
a funded thing, and he thought that I had potential to do better. and he sent me, and I just went and did it. It was very good, and I mean, who would say no to an opportunity like that, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I don't know why he's saying that, and I had a chat with him, and he's like, no, but you can do better, and I think everybody who's working hard should be supported. Another thing about lawyers that they are very kind. So he's a very kind and good friend also. So he just pushed me for it, and I was like, why not? Of course, we should do it because I am Ahmedabad keeps sending these emails to all the leadership committees in all the companies and the firms, and then they choose people, and then I was
Hmm.
actually chosen for this thing.
Oh, so you can't apply for it.
You
You are
can.
chosen. So you
No,
can
you
apply
can
as well, but
also.
they choose you also.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
as I told you, I was doing very good, and I was happy in my space, and I was like, we should do something, but what? And something like this happened, and then he forwarded it to me and the committee, and he's like, I think we should get her to this course. It will help us,
Yeah.
of course, help the firm, but it will help her also. So that's how it
Right.
happened.
How was your experience in the program? How long
It
was the
was
program
fantastic.
for?
I would recommend all the students to do something like that after their 5 years or 6 years of working. They must keep learning. They must keep applying to these courses. The world has become so vast, yet so small. You can reach out and you can reach anywhere. You can do online courses. So I think yes, in-person courses makes more of a difference. This course also helped me convert more clients. It also helped me meet a lot of other people at my level who were doing marketing and BD and CEOs and CFOs. So I connected with a lot of people. So it was a good networking thing also.
Hmm. Hmm.
It basically added to my education, but it also added my networking skills and getting some clients to the firm. So every student should keep learning after 5 6 years something new. It was a fantastic experience. It was very good. And I am Ahmedabad,
Awesome.
it's the
Yeah.
center of the country, and you already feel so good that you are entering that campus, and it was very good.
Right. I think one parallel that I could draw between both of your education stories was that there was always an external person pushing you to
Yes,
like go and study. Were
yes.
you lazy to like study ever since? I think that's the vibe I'm getting. Yeah.
I was not very fond of it
Mm.
because I always believed that I don't know how, but I always believed that I'll work hard and it'll pay off. And I was thankfully I was never running behind a rat race of getting number one. And I think
Mm.
that helped me because I was such a stress-free person. I was like, I know good will happen because if you work hard honestly, so you don't have to be number one. I mean, who will look at my certificate of class 11th after 10 years of my experience? I don't know how that had happened at such a young age, but I was very, very ahead of my time. So I won't say I
Mm.
was, you can say I was lazy of studying, but I just felt, experience will be good. So
So, what are some of the things that you did in school which helped shape your personality or your thought process?
So I was a part of all the cultural activities along with studies, all the extempores and all your dance and your drama. That was interesting. Sports was very integral part because sports only sounds like you have to have physical strength, but sports needs a lot of brain strength. You strategize to win, and I think that also helped a lot. And of course, fitness was a very integral part of our school. So being fit is important, and school, and I have siblings, so I have grown up in a very happy environment with my siblings. So
So, you're the youngest or the eldest?
I am in the middle. I'm the lucky one. I'm the balancing the whole thing. So we all went to the same school. So we had so many stories and good fun, and it was a good time. And I think school cultural activities and sports is something that people should be interested in. They should be
Hmm.
interested. And
Hmm.
reading came to us naturally because of my mom. So reading helps, but I know nowadays people don't read that much. Everybody has a
Yeah,
Kindle
it's
to
sadly it's a
just
dying culture.
yeah, it's just a show off. Like I have a Kindle, but I don't know how much they're using it. I really don't know.
Hmm.
So,
Right. So, which sports did you play, and how many books did you read as a kid?
see, as a kid, they were like Shakespeare and Macbeth. We were reading in class 7 and 8 because
Yeah.
of my mom. That was not in the course, so we were reading good quality thing. Every summer vacation, my mom used to give us a book and she used to say, "Read it," and then I'll ask you guys. So we used to have that fun thing with her. And even my grandmother is a professor. My nani is a professor.
Wow.
So we used to have a lot of fun doing all that. And then I think we were reading quality books. Of course, we were reading Mills and Boons also, right? The ninth and tenth, but that doesn't add anything. That's just a fun element. And sports, I'll tell you, I used to not play those exotic sports. I used to play very desi sports like kabaddi and kho because that needs more physical and brain power to win. And badminton and carom. That was really something that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed. I've also represented my school in these national tournaments. So these are the some of the things I played. I was not good at basketball. I was not good at throw ball. Ball was not my. It was never in my court. So I was good with board games and this kho and kabaddi kind of stuff, and I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And which were some of the books that you read as a kid that, were life changing or something that you still remember about? Because you said that you read quality books and, some of those really helped shape your thought process.
So I think because I'm such an emotional person, I used to read a lot of fictional, and I think Sons and Lovers was something that I read, and I was like, my God! I mean, you have to keep your emotions very correct. You can't. It's a very intensive book, and I was very young when I was reading it. So that changed your emotions. Then Old Man and the Sea. It's a
Hmm.
gorgeous book, and it teaches you willpower. And I think that really helped me hone my willpower. Like, if you can be in the middle of the sea and survive, you can be anywhere and survive. It was like that.
Hmm.
I would recommend everybody to read Old Man and the Sea. It's a very beautiful book. I loved it. And then,
Thank
not very young, but little older, I read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I think everybody
Oh,
knows
it's
this.
a classic.
It's a classic, and that also gives you the power of manifestation and understanding what you speak and what you should not speak. And then when I did start doing my law, I also read a book by Pinky Virani. It's called Bitter Chocolate.
Any final words of wisdom for our school students or the parents watching the show?
I think, Kushbu, all parents and children are very smart today. Just not taking pressure would help. And one strong thing that I believe, whatever you do, do it with honesty.
Mhm.
Because that is what is going to serve you honor. You have to honor yourself. If you honor yourself, everything else will fall into place. And it is your gut that you should listen to, and it will tell you if this is right or wrong. Because I think all parents teaches people to study, do well in life, and every parent will teach the person to be right in life. But it's actually the growth of the child when they're entering into adulthood to understand what they're listening to, and they should listen to their gut. They should listen to your heart, and it really helps.
True. These are wise words indeed. If I am to sum up your career exploration journey and the how did you figure it out, I would say that your initial push towards the current career that you're into came from your family members, particularly your
Yes.
dad, right?
Yes.
He
Correct.
identified your strengths and motivated you to pursue a career in LLB while you were 20 years old. So,
Yes.
fair to assume until you were 20, you were not sure what to pursue in life to really,
Yes.
start
Yes.
making a living by
Yes.
yourself. So, that and eventually you were in a college where you got an opportunity to do internships. Like out
Mm.
of 3 years, if you're interning for 1 year and 6 months, more
Mm.
than half
Yeah.
of your time, you
Yeah.
really understood what legal as a field looks like and
Yes.
where you would want to fit into yourself,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
So I think this is how you actually figured it out and never step back from there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think because I was so honest with everything, and I had a good attitude. I think things also starts falling into place. You have the right attitude, and you have to keep following it
Hmm.
with honesty, and that is what happened with me. And I also want to not make it so rosy. I mean, sometimes you feel like that I don't want to do this. I want to quit. I mean, I can't work so much. It happens to all the best of us, but it's just give it a day, sleep over it, and then next day will be a better start.
Right.
So that don't have this thing that I'll start working and everything will be rosy and I'll have my own money, but it takes a lot to be there.
True, true. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom and your time today. I'm sure your advices would have helped a lot of professionals, students, and even parents. So,
Yes.
thank you very much for your time.